But the bottom line is, I was having reactions and I didn't understand why. Financial trauma is not necessarily about what's in your bank account. It is about the mindset and the dialogue that you have in your head, your relationship with money, and why you feel like it's so hard all the time. I was so tired of financial trauma, feeling like it was running my world, feeling like every time I opened my bank account app, every time I paid my light bill, every time I put gas in my car or I bought lunch for myself, I would somehow have a physical reaction to things that I would do every day because I was spending money. I didn't really notice it just at once because it was something that happens to me over and over again on a regular basis. And we know if something, happens over and over again, we don't notice it because it seems like a normal reaction to it. One day, I checked my account after I was actually in the store and I was with my kids, and I checked my account before I bought food because I wanted to make sure that I had enough money in my account. Well, apparently, in the midst of checking my account, some purchase I had went through. I got in the line and, it was time to swipe the card and it kept being denied. I thought that I would fall out on the floor, right? My hands got sweaty. I literally like broke out into a sweat. I was having anxiety. One of my babies was crying. My oldest daughter was like, "Mommy, what's wrong?" I had to ask the cashier, "Can you just put my stuff on hold? Let me call the bank. I just checked my account. Something was wrong." That was one of the wake up calls for me. And the wake up call wasn't necessarily about I didn't have enough money. Yes, that was heartbreaking. That was scary. It was embarrassing. But I think the biggest thing was the reaction, the physical reaction that I was having. I really literally thought I was about to have a panic attack. And when I think about it now, I've healed through a lot of this, but just thinking about that, it just makes me want to be able to like talk to my former self and be like, it's okay, you're going to make it through this. Because really nobody prepares us about our finances. Nobody explains to us that things like that are financial trauma. And it's not just the one incident. The one incident that happened there wasn't the reason why I was having physical, issues or reactions every time I spent money that would be quote unquote deemed normal, taking care of my kids, buying diapers, paying the light bill, all of those things. But the bottom line is, I was having reactions and I didn't understand why. Financial trauma is not necessarily about what's in your bank account. It is about the mindset and the dialogue that you have in your head, your relationship with money, and why you feel like it's so hard all the time. So, today, what we're going to talk about financial trauma, our nervous system, and our health. So everyone has a nervous system, and our nervous system reacts to things that make us happy, that make us sad, that feel overwhelming. It's like a fight or flight response, right? And technically our nervous system is built to protect us. But many times in our life, we go through crisis, we go through stress, and our nervous system is there to help regulate all of that. But what happens over time is when you have constant stress, constant crisis, it throws our nervous system off, and it literally goes into a survival mode when it comes to different aspects in our life. So when we think about financial trauma in our nervous system, when you have a constant thought of lack, constant thoughts of scarcity, when you feel like there's never enough, when you've been through a bankruptcy, you've been through a divorce, you've just been through different losses in your life. You grew up in poverty, you grew up with a lot of money, but you were told to hold on to the money, or the money that you grew up with, it was always something that had like an emotional attachment to it, kind of like emotional manipulation with power with money. All of those things, no matter how you grew up, we have a nervous system response to it. Many times I would get physically sick. I mean, sick. I noticed that around the times where I had the greatest financial stress, I would get the flu, I would have sinus attacks and headaches. I would just be in the bed and I didn't know why. And while this could be also mental, right? Because those things can cause depression, it can cause sadness, it can cause anxiety. My body literally would have these physical reactions when I was going through different situations with money. The biggest thing that I want people to know as a financial therapist is having less money does not equate to being happy or sad. Now, I'm not going to say that having more money and having money to pay your bills and not feeling like you have to worry and all of those things, yes, it does bring a certain calmness, but please believe that the more money you have, the more things that you accumulate. It is just human nature. The majority of people do not live below their means. The majority of people live above their means. And when they get more money, they just live even more above their means. And it's not our fault. For the majority of us and the people that I know, we are not taught about really how to make more money, about how to invest, about how to use our own creativity, right, to create other things. There is nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. That is not what I'm saying. God put all of us here to be creatives. And if not anything else, we are here. Each and every one of us are here to create something that doesn't exist. And through being the creators, you get paid for it. The truth is that we have to heal our relationship with money. Sometimes when it comes to paying bills, or like when a salesman or something may ask someone for money, they get angry. I've watched people literally get angry when someone asks them for money. It is not about the money. It is their reaction concerning their relationship with money. And I was one of those people. I mean, I wouldn't get angry and yelling and cursing anybody out, but I noticed that I would have a reaction if someone asked me for money. And it's not fair. It's not fair to any of us. But I know that that is one of the main reasons why I became a financial therapist. As a mental health therapist, I had so many clients, couples, and I realized how much our money mindset is connected to trauma and things that have happened to us. And I realized, I was like, this is what happened to me growing up. My parents went through a serious loss financially, which of course impacted me as a teenager. We had to move across the country. We moved in with family, and I'm thankful that we had somewhere to go. But the bottom line is, because of that, the communication that my parents weren't having, they did end up divorcing. It's not just about the money, it's that we're not taught how to communicate about the money. We're not taught necessarily, again, about how to invest money, what to do with our money, how to spend money. Truly, when you don't have enough, there isn't enough. It's not like you can just pull money out of the sky. But if we are taught how to make or collect more money, it makes a difference in our lives. But we also have to understand our mindset and our behaviors surrounding money. Have you ever seen millionaires or celebrities, or let's just think of like sports players and people like that, and you see them go broke and you're like, how could these people have all of this money, millions of dollars, and then not have any more money? Because no one taught them how to manage the money. And when, especially if you come from a situation where you don't have an overflow of money and you don't understand finances and you don't understand spending and you don't understand investing, then you're going to get a bunch of money. You're going to buy all these things that you thought you could ever dream of. You're going to take care of family members and different people, and you're going to do all of these things. but it's not going to help you in the long run, and you're going to end up back in the same position where you started. As a financial therapist, my goal is not only to help people to heal from financial trauma, but to help them understand who they are and how they can create more financial abundance in their life, more financial security. And when I say security, anything can happen in life, right? And you can lose anything. Like, life is risky. But when I talk about financial security, I'm talking about the financial security in yourself. Because if you create something that doesn't exist and you are the creator of it, if you lost everything today financially, you would have the blueprint to create it again. That's why millionaires and billionaires and these creatives, including myself, this is why if we did lose everything, we could rebuild it because we have the blueprint, and probably even faster because half of the mistakes you made, you wouldn't make them again. If you have ever experienced health issues due to financial trauma, whether that is you need medical attention and you don't have enough money and your health gets worse because you can't pay for the medicine or you can't pay for the care that you need. If that is you grew up not having enough and now every time it feels like you need to pay bills, you're scared to pay bills. Even if you have enough in your bank account, you have a physical response to that. Anytime your kids ask you for money and you yell at them, or they see you get mad, or you let them know money doesn't grow on trees, all of this is a financial trauma response. It is a nervous system response, and it will have impacts on your health. If you want to know more about financial trauma and you actually want to have a consultation with me, my consultation link is in the description. I love the work that I do, and I know what it feels like with the stress with money. I know the depression, the anxiety, and all of the things that it feels, especially when you feel like all the weight is on you. So I really want to send everyone an abundance of love and light. And just remember that your situation is temporary. And also remember that you are your greatest value and you are your greatest asset. Take care.